We got Paul Pierce. He's recently went viral for this clip right here, man. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got, man. So let's go ahead and play this joint.
Kids, and then when our kids,
Why does think you having trouble? Hold on, y'all. I might look up on YouTube. Here we go.
based off of sex, but every relationship is based off of that.
I
That's
don't
what
think so.
100%. You can't tell me nothing different. This is what I feel, and that's why I'll never be in another relationship because it's always based off of that.
So you're not going to be in another relationship?
Hell no, for what? Because it's gonna be based off the sex. Once that wear down, you're gonna go find somebody else that's better. Yeah, but it ain't gonna be based off of. Listen, this is the thing, and listen carefully.
I'm
Listen
listening.
carefully.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm listening.
Relationships. Let me tell you what marriage is all about. Or let me tell you what marriage is, and who's marriage for. Marriage is for old people and poor people.
Okay, so let's get into that. Why?
Because when you broke, our parents, like my moms and all them, they married on a merit of like, okay, we're gonna put our incomes together, have all these kids, and then when our kids, we're gonna have 5, 10 kids back in the 60s, all them, they're gonna have
Yeah.
5, 10 kids so they can work and bring income.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like every relationship shouldn't be based off of sex, but every relationship is based off of that.
I don't think so.
100%. You can't tell me nothing different. This is what I feel, and that's why I'll never be in another relationship.
What we got?
So
Second clip.
you poor, so you married for that,
Yo, is he wearing a robe?
and now when you get old, somebody that to be by your side to take care of you. Right now, my mom got married. My mom never been married in my lifetime. She got married when she was 70.
Wow.
It was perfect. She had somebody by her side the whole way through.
So do you?
I really believe that. Like that's what. Like outside of that, it's no advantage to a man. Why is marriage advantage? What advantage? What does it do for a man when things go south? Like we gonna have to give up half our this, pay child support, pay. But what do the? It's only advantageous to a woman. Like it's real talk.
But what if you meet a woman and you're like, wow, she's a gem, she's valuable,
We
she's
could be
everything, and I
together.
want to lock her down in marriage?
I don't want to lock no woman down. We could be cool
So you're telling me right now today,
today.
you on January 4th, you do not
So you poor. So you.
want to be in a relationship ever again?
I don't think it's realistic long term until I turn 70.
It's that till I turn 70.
I am done. I've never been more done with a motherfucker.
I'm 47 right now. Until I turn 70, that's the only realistic part I see is because we both old. We ain't out in the streets. We at home watching TV. You go take me to the hospital. I'm going to take you to the hospital. That's it. But right now, I'm too cracking right now. So what do I need to
Is
do
it
all that
because you
for?
feel like you
What I need to
have
do all that for?
want to be in a relationship ever again?
I don't think it's realistic long term until I turn 70.
I am done. I've never been more done with a motherfucker.
I'm 47 right now. Until I turn 70, that's the only realistic part I see is because we both old. We ain't out in the streets. We at home watching TV. You go take me to the hospital. I'm gonna take you to the hospital. That's it. But
I mean, yo, don't get me wrong. What he's saying is a little bit of a. Someone left a comment. I thought it was really interesting because the girl who left the comment, she's actually older. I remember I've been following her since I was 25. She's still fine. It's like one of the first women I ever seen that had one of those fake bodies and like being as though I didn't know what it was, and you just thought, oh wow, this person has like an amazing body, right? But I know she's up there in age, and like she comments on all this stuff, and she's like again like one of the many women who are really attractive that you probably been following for years, and they will never be in a relationship, and they're not in a relationship now because men have started to really wake up to the idea of, you know what, this doesn't really help me. Like this relationship is not really helping me. All right, or this is not making my life better. But bigger than that, being as though men understand, especially more than ever, that there is no guarantee for even the average guy to be with his girl forever because women are so influenced by media. Because media is stories. Because and every story has a beginning, middle, and an end. So women, for the most part, get really caught up in. Now everyone loves a story, but women really get caught up in stories, i.e., a soap opera, the National Enquirer, the tabloids, media takeout. You know, to the point where they can just make reality shows where them hoes just square up. The Zeus Network is all about black people getting straight to fighting. It's not the climax of the season. No one's trying to break it up and whatnot. They really there's I've seen episodes of Baddies or whatever them shows is where they're just getting together to fight. Now, mind you, these are regular people who do not train. This is based off of all nigga energy, and this is how far nigga energy can take you. I thought they had like teams and shit, and it's just a battle royale. Don't get me wrong, fam. Getting punched in the face and punching people in the face is the most unladylike thing ever. Don't get me wrong. I respect women not being afraid to throw down and not being afraid to defend themselves and whatnot. I respect that. But the idea of wanting and volunteering, not because because you train and it's in like a controlled environment and whatnot where it's productive. You want to have fights that have actual malice. I think the girl's name is Tashiki. It's Christian Rock's sister. Though, yo, it's like watching like these people are actual demons. I'm starting to really think that some of these people have demon DNA. Okay, I feel like demons have been able to mate with humans because you gotta think about you guys are some evil people. Y'all move like evil people. Could you imagine having a disagreement or having to live with Christian Rock? You understand? But anywho, but going back to what Paul Pierce is saying, this is how badly women have screwed up when it comes to relationships with men. Women don't really cook. No, and again, that the father daughter dynamic always goes on between men and women. And what's going on? What's something I started noticing too. When the women start talking more like they want more of a daughter relationship with men, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing about like when she looks at it that way, even stuff like princess, I want princess treatment, right? Soft life, stuff like that, or even we think about the fantasy of a sugar daddy. There are some women who don't even say, "Oh wow, I'm able to meet a guy who's generous and has money and is willing to take care of me and whatnot." It's only right that I try to make this enjoyable for both of us. I remember back in the day watching, I think it was True Life. I'm a Sugar Baby, right? And these girls were just dirtbags, just straight up scammers. Now, it was funny is at that time I actually believed that there are some guys that maybe will spend money on a woman, even though that they're not really getting anything out of it. And it can happen, but it's most likely not going to be a guy who's actually rich. Now, I guess it's possible, but it's not going to be a guy who's actually rich, right? So, or who knows? Maybe these girls were front for the camera, but on that show, or on that episode rather, their storylines were mostly about trying to get this man to spend money on them, all while not sleeping with him. I'm like, God damn! I'm like, it's only gonna be 20 minutes. God, dog. I mean, fam, like this guy is compensating you handsomely, handsomely, right? And when I was younger, I knew that wasn't cool, but when I think about it more so now, like that's like really effed up. Then don't deal with him. If you don't find him physically attractive enough to sleep with him, but you want him to spend money on you, it's one thing if you just want to hang out. Let's say he a nigga that he like to party a lot and y'all hanging out and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I can kind of understand that. But you wanting someone to actually spend money on you. I think one of the girls was like a singer or something like that, and she wanted this guy to spend money on her to basically get studio time and help her develop as an artist. And that nigga got her a rhyme dictionary and shit. That was us for the first date, which is actually a nice gift. At the time, I was thinking, oh well, he's rich, so he has to give her something that costs a lot of money. But like, nah, that's not how you move. And they actually filmed one conversation where one of the guys is telling the girl, I think he says, doll, you need to turn the heat up. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Whatever. I can't find it. But the main point was those women were running scams, and what started happening more, especially as women started kind of consuming more media, is that women start to see relationships more like scams that they can work. You know what I'm saying? And marriage has become a whole scam in and of itself. And the thing is, whenever this comes up, most people who are getting it, who are going through divorce, going through basically the court system, average people are affected by the court system way more in terms of fees and child support and arrangements and stuff like that and alimony. Those are average people who pay that stuff. It's not just rich people. Not only rich people have something to lose. That's the most fucked up thing you could say is, oh well, you're a normal person. Like like you don't have those kind of problems. Like your money doesn't matter. No, a normal person has less money to go around. You think that if you get divorced and you make way more than your wife, you can be making $70,000 a year. That's not enough to make it, but she's making 30. You may have to pay her alimony. You know what I'm saying? If y'all have a house or something like that, you may have to sell that and give her half of it, or give her the house. You know what I mean? These are things that are expected. And the thing is, women not holding each other accountable, and this is the thing about male leadership. It's hard for it's hard for anyone to flourish, any group of people to flourish without male leadership, because you have to know when. You have to be able to make the right choices. I'm sorry you don't like that. But name a civilization, name a great group of people that advanced through solely female leadership. Name an empire that was dominant based off of female leadership. Name a group of people who are feared just off of female leadership. It's not a thing. That's a movie. That's some shit from movies. No one's saying women can't be awesome, can't be brave, can't do their thing and stuff like that. But what you do when you push that narrative is you make men into manginas. Sorry, you know what I'm saying? You know what? Niggas always gotta show they. You make them into manginas. You know what I mean? And I think I've heard CJ talk about it. But overall, what it breeds is a less than ideal man, a man that cannot problem solve, a man that gets emotional and doesn't. It's really tough. And it's really tough for men to understand. It's tough for modern women in general. Do not want things to move forward. So whenever these conversations come up, it's almost like you can't have the conversation in a back and forth kind of way. You just say what you gotta say and leave it there. If you're a black man in particular, stop trying to agree. Stop trying to have a conversation where somebody can agree with you. Say what the facts are and stand on it. Like earlier, I have a conversation with my coworkers. I had to stand on some shit. You know what I'm saying? I said, yo, that's why we at the bottom. Because basically, we was talking about, they was disagreeing with me about whether or not it's best for a child to grow up in a two-parent household. And the argument was basically, what if one of the parents has problems? That you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And the points I made, you can't get around this. So I said to my homeboy, I said, so by your logic then, so you saying that you would have a kid, so you would have children and get married and have children, and then you feel like at some point you would look at your family and say, you know what? I think y'all good by yourselves. I'm gonna go ahead and piece myself out, man. I think you got it. I think this is straight. You know what I'm saying? So because by that logic, you saying that it's cool to separate. The fact that black people's mathematical skills are so terrible, and also the foresight, the long-term thinking, to be able to think 10, 20 years ahead. That's one of the main reasons why y'all make these effed up decisions. A big problem that men have is wanting things to be comfortable, and you realize you're not really building up a tolerance for adversity. Men have to have a tolerance for adversity where they're ready to act and problem solve at the drop of a dime. I mean, and that's why you always gotta be ready for anything. But your problem solving ability has to remain strong in order for you to be strong. All right. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but anyway, so we was having a conversation about, why we're at the bottom and everything in the two-parent household, and I'm like, damn, we're still not able to think about, again, going back to the math of, if that's two different leases, two different insurance companies, that's two different sets of groceries. All this shit. On the women's side, she doesn't feel as though it's worth it to not be able to do whatever the fuck she wants to do. Anyone who's ever sat at home a lot by themselves as the only child, there was a certain freedom and comfortability you had being by yourself a lot. And part of it was no one was telling you what to do as much. But you need a little bit of a tolerance for that for when it's time to live life. Because those kind of interactions are what trains you to know what to do as an adult. You know, dealing with adults saying, "Hey, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that." You know what I mean? And also, I think a part of it is explaining to children, "This is why I'm telling you what to do." You know what I mean? Explaining it so you can have a good life. I want you to have a good life. Like I used to tell my exes, son, I say, "No, your mother and your father and all of us do all this stuff so you can have a good life, and we want you to have a good life." And you know, so anyway, and now, but going back to addressing Paul Pierce's point, that's about to be a long show about who marriage is for, right? More than anything, men are starting to realize that marriage benefits women more, all around, from getting into it to getting out of it. Okay, more than ever, we're seeing women talk about they are homeless, living in their car, to the point where they're online making whole, basically new genres of TikTok, trying to glamorize and turn living in a van or a car into a story. Okay, that is one of my greatest fears is living in a fucking car. Okay, and much less I can't imagine for a woman who wouldn't be able to defend herself against attackers if such. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, overall, because I want to keep making this too long. Overall, what he's saying now, again, that's his particular perspective, right? But overall, what he's saying is again that B word, the B word changed everything. You know what the B word is? Benefit. When men start asking themselves, "How do I benefit?" You women start to look a little crazy, and now your luck is ran out. Everything has a run, and women did not think far enough ahead. Or I'm saying they didn't think ahead far enough to understand that, hey, what if this runs its course, and what if men get tired of this? But again, women don't really notice that because again, these women want to be 14 to 16 years old forever, and they also want to have the accountability of a 14 to 16-year old. They want you to have to be tolerant of their bad behavior the same way you would your 14 and 16-year old. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much just have the expectation that I'm going to be a problem like your 14 to 16. For the most part, she wants to treat you as if she's going through puberty for the rest of your lives because in her mind she thinks that that's stimulating. Because getting angry, getting upset, causing problems, this has become a thing that women have come to feel as though it's their right to give you hell. And you gotta understand that men have realized that someone who loved me don't want me to feel like shit. Someone who loved me don't want me to feel as though I've been abandoned. Someone who loves me doesn't want me to feel as though I've been betrayed. Someone who loves me isn't going to discard me like garbage. That's some cold shit. When you have a woman who has licked you in places, you know what I'm saying, and had all kinds of nasty sex with you, you know what I'm saying, and been submissive to you in so many different ways. Yo, it's crazy to see someone switch up like that. That's traumatic. That shit is the same as again, like that's just the same as you coming to work one day, and the principal. I'm sorry, not the principal. I'm sorry. The manager or whoever the manager is and whatnot just shows up and says, "Hey, what you doing here?" "Oh, hey, Jerry." Says clocking in. "No, you're not." "What you mean?" "You're fired. You've been fired. Fired you weeks ago. I'm not sure why you're still even here." How much of that will blow your mind? You'd be like, "I've been seeing you for we had lunch yesterday, Jerry. What do you mean I've been fired for weeks?" Just because we ate in the same room doesn't mean we had lunch together. So I don't work here anymore. I don't know where you work. That's that's again I know that dialogue wasn't as tight as I could have made it, but you get the point. You know what? Niggas always gotta show they teeth. Shout out to CJ, my nigga. I love that sound. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I had to steal that jaw, man. I'm sorry, man.
Y'all niggas see what y'all see what they doing out the way? Nigga, I got an army out here. Come outside. Come out. Come outside, throw that fucking bottle. Come downstairs and throw that bottle. Come downstairs.
Who gonna come downstairs and throw a bottle? But anyway, yeah, man, y'all cook. So yeah, we're probably gonna leave that there. I think I was making a point, but I think I've kind of driven this home enough. Yeah, man, men just not doing it no more, especially if you got money. I think about that shit all the time, like about like I always think about always like fine. It makes me like really happy when I think about yo, when I'm at home, no one can tell me what to do in here. Like no one's gonna do things in here that I don't want them to do. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing's gonna happen. Like everything in here that's bad is because of me. You feel me? Any mess in here is because of me. You know what I'm saying? And also I always take pride in the fact that I'm maintaining this shit. All right, like at a higher level. You know what I'm saying? Paying more than I was paying before. You know what I mean? So a lot of men can't do that. A lot of men can't go somewhere and pay way more in rent. You know what I mean? And still be able to pay that shit and make that shit happen. It wouldn't matter what they try to do. They just all men have a limit to what like how much money they can possibly make, which is why like yo, real talk, y'all gotta rethink the whole strategy. What's gonna have to happen is somebody gonna have to create a content space for female improvement. Because the only way I think that's one way we can get back on track and get women to be more realistic and just get back to enjoying relationships, not trying to make them like movies and TV shows. Where fucked up things happen, even though it's real life. But anyway, that's what I got for that, man. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be right. All right, yo, we back, man. We back, man. Let's go ahead and hear from the GOAT, man. So I might have to end it with this drum, man. We already at the hour mark and everything. But let's hear what Ye had to say about J. Cole.